Before my first knee replacement, I stopped looking up all the things to buy and I started preparing and planning instead. By my second knee replacement, I felt stronger and recovered faster, all because of one thing that I refused to skip the second time. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I planned for going into my first knee replacement versus what I planned for my second. What I intentionally skipped both times because I actually prepared, and the one non-negotiable that I made sure of for knee number 2 because of what knee number 1 taught me. So what exactly did I plan for knee number 1? To be perfectly honest, almost nothing. My knee number 1 was entirely degraded by the time it got to replacement. It got to the point where it hurt to walk. So even going up a curb was incredibly painful. So I didn't think I could do anything other than wait for that magical day. But I did do a few things. I knew that I was the cook of the house. I knew that I was the one that went grocery shopping. I did all the kitchen stuff, so I needed a backup plan for that. I also knew I was going to have a lot of medications, so I knew that I was going to be pretty out of it and probably a little loopy, and I knew that was all going to take a toll on my emotions. But besides that, that was my entire plan for knee number 1. Now, my plan for knee number 2 was extremely different. The difference between knee number 1 and knee number 2 was almost 3 years. And in that time, I got married. So I was working out a lot before my wedding. And that was all to fit into my wedding dress. I ended up releasing 33 inches and 13 pounds. So I knew I wanted to be strong going into knee number 2. I also did not let it get nearly as bad as knee number 1. When they told me that it was medically necessary, I went ahead and scheduled the surgery. I wasn't about to have it degrade as much as knee number 1, and that's because knee number 1 led to hip replacement number 1 7 months after my first knee replacement. So going into knee number 2, I knew I wanted to be stronger. And I knew I wanted to take care of my body and fuel it with the necessary things that I thought it needed to heal better. Now, that's things like water intake. Hydration goes a long way in your healing. I also knew that I needed more protein. Protein and fiber together help rebuild things in our bodies. I looked into supplementing minerals and how could I get more minerals that I knew I was going to need in my recovery that would actually help my body to heal. And then I knew I wanted to stay away from inflammatory foods. As much as we crave those comfort foods, which are okay in moderation, I knew that relying on fast food and things that were high in fat, things that were processed, and things like seed oils that are really high in omega-6s all lead to inflammation. And that's the one thing we're trying to control post-op. And now I'm going to talk to you about those things that I decided not to prepare because I didn't need them. And this was for both of my replacements. The first one, and this is a big one, and I know that this incites a lot of comments, but I didn't buy an ice machine. Nope. 4 gel ice packs would have been enough for me. And I said would have because I only had 3, but I wish I had 4. Because what I did was every time I sat down, I grabbed an ice pack. But what felt really good, especially in those later recovery days, like week 6 to month 3, having a gel pack on the top of my knee and on the bottom of my knee was a godsend. So in reality, I wish I had 4, but I only had 3 and they worked. Another thing that I didn't buy was a grabber tool. These are very popular with people, but guess what? A kitchen tongs can do the same thing and it's $1 at the dollar store. Or is it $1.25 now? There are so many recommended gadgets that people suggest that I didn't need. I used a stack of pillows instead of one of those pillows that you can buy on Amazon. Then there's something to help you put your socks on. I didn't need that. I had a husband. If I wanted to put my socks on, he would help me with that. And something to lift your leg I do suggest getting something to lift your leg. You don't have to. My husband did help me lift my leg into my bed, but a lot of people use a yoga strap for this, or even a dog leash, I've heard of. Simply put, you can MacGyver anything to help. The ice machine and the recommended tools, and the ones that everybody recommends, they just didn't make sense for me. And it didn't have anything to do with money. It just meant I didn't want anything around in a short amount of time that I knew wouldn't help me. Now, the one non-negotiable that I absolutely did for knee number 2 because of knee number 1, definitely strength training. Knee number 1 taught me what happens when you don't do strength training. Everything just seemed a little heavier. For knee number 2, I decided to build as much strength going into it beforehand. Like I said earlier, I was able to release 13 pounds and 33 inches for my wedding. I also had a really good idea of what the main muscle groups are to strengthen and concentrate on before your knee replacements. They're the same ones that you have to concentrate on after your knee replacement, and they are your quads, your glutes, and your hamstrings. And I am not a physical therapist. I'm just somebody who went through this and knew what she was doing the second time around. I knew that the stronger I could get those main muscle groups, the better I would have at a chance post-surgery. So my plan and what I did was I made a PT appointment, and I only went to one visit because all I wanted was their suggestions of exercises that I would be able to do in the short term to be able to get that leg as strong as possible. And they gave me those exercises, and I just kind of tossed them because I was already working out. So I just did my workout, and I just did it for 3 weeks. I made sure to modify things like side lunges. That doesn't feel good on an unstable knee, but that's what I did, and I modified as I went. That strength training is a big part of why my recovery went the way that it did. All of this, what I just mentioned about nutrition, hydration, mineral supplementation, and even strength training, it's all in my free ebook, and that's linked in the description below. And if you want to know the difference between knee number 1 and knee number 2 recoveries, go ahead and check out the next video. My name is Suzie Andrade. I help you make sense of knee replacement recovery with simple and practical steps so that you can recover with calm confidence.